All right, let's hit it. Welcome to Discourse Pod, the podcast where we discuss the discourse. Brought to you by Discourse Blog. Jack is here.
Hey, hey.
Third chair this week. Catherine's here.
What?
Hi.
Hi.
I know. It's crazy. Happy to be
I
here.
know. Catherine on a podcast?
The most exclusive
What's
guest
that
we could
about?
get. Finally,
I know.
someone with a
Wonders
following.
never cease.
I know. Catherine's an elusive guest because she's already making so many other media appearances.
And she's about to get more elusive.
Oh. Catherine has some stuff to do.
Too. She's not doing time theft. She
No.
is simply taking care of business.
Yes, Catherine will be right back. But that's okay. Listen, if we know about anything, it's multitasking.
Tell me about it. How many hours have the three of us spent just slumped over our computers in an open office figuring out how the hell are we going to get through the end of the day?
Too many to count.
I was just thinking back. I think it was 10 years ago, Jack, that you and I started working together. And now look at us now.
Isn't that crazy?
It really is absurd. It's also just like the halcyon days of fusion media.
I, looking back, I'm like, how was that a real place?
Talk about
it basically wasn't a real place. That's how. But it existed, and we did that.
Truly, we made it up. It was just rich people play acting as, what if we did this?
We did literally have a shark correspondent.
Oh my God. I blocked that out. There's so many little details and facets of all the insane specialized roles there that I completely forgot about. 99% of the time when I recall that time, I forget that we were part of a legitimate television network.
Yes, we were.
We've been through a lot together. We've been through so much.
It was basically this time 9 years ago that all of us were sitting in that cramped little room watching Donald Trump win the election for the first time.
Really incredible.
Well, and here's another memory I have, which is perhaps a segue to our podcast for today. I also remember, and this was 10 years ago, how carefully we handled the first early implication of Trump in a lawsuit with respect to Epstein. Do you remember that? It was we had to cloak it in all of this, because even covering the story at that point made you cringe. The whole thing was regarded as and these were legal filings, ha 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 ha. But
if you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. That's deep lore. I really do remember that. Yeah, early on, the Epstein story and the Epstein case was even to be touching it, it was what are you, some right-wing provocateur? And now, here we are, sitting around with the freaking president of the United States implicated once again, not so fringe anymore.
I know, implicated for the 16th time.
And the craziest thing to me is, I guess the question has always been what did he know and when did he know it? And so it's really stunning this week to see in black and white Epstein alleging Trump, quote unquote, knew about the girls, and also spent hours and hours with Virginia Jeffrey at his townhouse.
Right. I mean,
stuff.
The other thing that comes through in that conversation, and also that sort of runs through all of these crazy ass emails that have come out, not just about Trump, but about all of these people, is there's so much obvious contempt coming from Epstein towards Trump.
Trump, yes.
He's this dumb piece of shit.
Major useful idiot vibes.
The credulousness and the weird way that all these people worshipped Jeffrey Epstein, including people who, I don't know if you saw this letter from Noam Chomsky today.
Yeah.
Oh.
Noam.
Noam's in the inbox?
Oh, yeah, no, just whose
He's
relationship with
there.
Epstein has been a thing of knowledge. But I could be obviously wrong about this. I don't get the sense that he was on Pedophile Island.
Yeah.
But although who knows?
At this rate,
We don't know. I'm not saying anything definitively.
It sucks to see your faves fall. Like when Bill Clinton was implicated, I cried about that for days.
Oh,
you know?
I know. But like this letter from Noam Chomsky, he's like, wow, like Jeffrey's so brilliant, and he like lets me meet the most interesting people, and we have such amazing conversations. And I'm like, this dude is playing you, like so much.
Yeah. What's fascinating to me is, and I've thought this throughout, is basically like the unique ability that like the people are at the upper echelons of the financial world, the royal family, academia, the banking world, whatever else, the ability that they have to not wonder what Jeffrey is getting in return, or also just like this total divorcement of the notion that like they would ever have to worry about their association with this guy should it become public. Like Bill Gates was going to Jeffrey, or I don't know why I keep saying Jeffrey, sorry about that, to Epstein's
Your
house.
friend Jeffrey.
Like don't search the emails for my name. No, like they were all going to his house even after the first sweetheart deal when he got solicitation of a minor.
Like long after. I mean, I think first of all, obviously they didn't give a shit. And I think like probably a lot of them, I don't know if you saw Megyn Kelly like over the last
that clip.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
This is where we're at now.
But like where she said, "Oh, someone I know who's really close to the case." I'm like, is that person like Donald Trump? Could be a lot of people, obviously, but is like, oh, like he wasn't a pedophile. Like he was just into teenage girls, like 15-year-olds. Like it's not that big a deal.
What's a little statutory?
And she's like, oh, he was just into like the barely legal thing, which is like barely legal is obviously like a disgusting like trope, but the word legal is in there for a reason. It's not like
Kelly,
barely
a former lawyer or current lawyer
who could probably still practice law in a couple states, but like it's not barely illegal. It's like it's just on the right side of legal, and 15 is not that. But so I would imagine that a lot of people were like, "What's the big deal? He's just like into like high school girls, Who Among Us, etc." Like we all watched Manhattan and thought it was a great art film. Like another thing where like for so many years I was like, how are we just like walking around being like, I really love that movie where Woody Allen dates a teenager. Right. Or like, oh, it's fine. Like Jerry Seinfeld dated like a 17-year-old or whatever.
What's the deal with statutory rape?
Right.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh my God, I'm dating a minor.
What's the deal?
We've
reached the point where it's like, do statutory to own the libs. Like this is their new paradigm.
Well, and also like, we've reached a point where like, and I'm thinking about this as I edit stories at the Intercept, where Republicans made their whole thing for a long time, save the children, LGBTQ people are groomers,
bathroom
like,
bills, all that.
Yeah, everyone who stands against me is a pedophile. And now I think Megyn Kelly is an interesting harbinger. It'll be interesting to see whether they have to contort themselves in supporting Trump, whether they have to contort themselves into basically splitting hairs about what's a pedophile and what's not.
What's not.
Because
I mean, it seems like they're already doing that.
I'm wondering if on down from Megyn Kelly, if they'll do that.
Yeah.
If she's indicative of a real sea change. Because these people have never previously shown any, shall we say, nuance when it comes to literally any political issue, let alone what constitutes a quote-unquote pedophile. They think all gay people are pedophiles. Right. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they quibble about 15 is a lot different than 13. It's like, do you hear yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
you're not going to catch me splitting hairs about that. Also, going back to Real Ones Know, you can't libel someone who's dead. So I'm going to keep calling Jeffrey Epstein a pedophile.
Absolutely.
Even if the technical term is ibonophile or whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, I was like, I have to admit, like maybe I need to brush up on like my pedophilia knowledge.
You don't. You do not.
In terms of like,
I think you're sad.
In terms of like whatever the legal categories are or whatever. Do not need to brush up on my knowledge in any other way, obviously. But I'm like, oh, there's like a sub tier of pedophilia now that we're supposed to distinguish from like the main kind of pedophilia, that's nonsense.
I think you're forgiven for not having been read up and off book on the statutes.
Right.
On that one.
It's weird that like Megyn Kelly has acquainted herself, who like not apart from all the shit you were saying quite rightly, Katherine, about we have to protect the children from like the trans rapist, blah, 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 blah. Like, these people are the most, we have to lock everybody up, and I'm here as a protector of our precious women, blah, 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 blah. But, like, all of a sudden, they're like, except if you can kind of go, I guess that's, you know, a gray area. It's just so fucking crazy and so gross. And every time one of these things, like, comes around again, you just look around and it's like, what are people waiting for before Larry Summers gets driven out of public life? What more do we need to know about this person before, like, he stops being hailed as, like, one of the geniuses of our time and, like, a major power broker?
Like, every president has to bow to, basically, and take very seriously around things like the stimulus COVID checks. Right. And like he remains extremely influential.
Yeah, and played such a huge role like in all of the campus, like anti-Semitism, witch hunts. Like Harvard has to like fire more people.
His most recent tweet before the emails dropped was kvetching about how the Harvard Crimson supported BDS. And it's like, really, who is like the morally suspicious one here? Like the newspaper that's support Palestine, or like the guy who's like, I really loved my pedophile friend. In so many ways, I think it's like the lady doth protest too much. And also, I for a long time, and maybe this applies somewhat to Summers, but I think, at least what I've thought about Bill Clinton for a long time, like, he is super implicated in all of the Epstein stuff and has been for years. And I just kept wondering, what will it take for the Dems to give him the heave-ho? And I think, like, they must know that there's more in there about other Dems, or there's more in there about Bill Clinton. And this isn't even me going Daily Stormer or anything. There's been a lot of reporting from Dropsite, I believe, about how there were Mossad agents staying at Jeffrey Epstein's townhouse. And so I also can't help but think, like, maybe it's the Israel of it all also. Like, I think that's the issue that really unites all of these people above all else.
Well, and one of his closest, like, confidants and business partners was Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel, who, like, tying all these threads together, like if you read that Noam Chomsky just like putting this out there to say how much I love Jeffrey Epstein, like memo that he wrote, one of the things that he points to is he like hooked me up and I got to meet Ehud Barak and we got to like have such a great conversation like about Israel and about the peace process and like all of that shit. Like, I have no, like, real conclusion about, like, was Jeffrey Epstein a spy for the Mossad? Any of that kind of shit. But clearly, like, he was operating, like, at the highest levels across multiple countries. I mean, like, when you're like, like, Bill Clinton is my buddy, every door is going to open to you.
Well, and I also think he had deep ties to intelligence, whether or not he was literally an asset. Readers of the blog and knowers of my mind know that my third eye is wide the fuck open on this. The more we find out, the more it's not that hard to believe.
It's clearly entirely possible.
Because why was this guy allowed to persist?
Yeah. I think you could go a couple of directions on that, any of which I think are plausible. Like, he had dirt on people. Obviously, that is true. But, like, the sort of less conspiratorial, maybe, but almost more, like, sinister scenario to me is he didn't have to, like, blackmail people or threaten to leak compromising information or anything like that until like he got arrested again, and then all bets are off, obviously. But they genuinely liked him And it's very interesting. Like, I keep going back to this Chomsky letter because it's so like crazy. And because it also mirrors exactly like what the former now Prince Andrew said when he was asked, like, why were you like hanging out with him? And he, of course, what he didn't say was like, I also like having sex with like
children,
underage trafficked girls. But he was like, he introduced me to the most amazing people. You know, you went to his house and there was always someone there who was like really fascinating, and he like brought people together. And so I don't
a real connector in the Malcolm Gladwell sense.
Right. And so I think certainly it's possible that like he was running a little protection racket for himself and like definitely like kept insurance policies like on every person who he interacted with. But I also think it could just be as simple as like, he was like providing these sex slaves essentially to all of these men who were like, great, thank you so much. I'm really happy that I get to benefit from that.
They wanted what he was able to provide.
Yeah. And B, that they were like, wow, he's really cool. These people are just like, there's such loser energy that like floats off of them in their interactions with him. Like this sort of desperate, like sweaty pandering.
Sycophantic even.
Yeah, like vibe that comes and they're like, wow, I just love this super rich guy who like has the kind of life that I would love to have. And he's letting me have a taste of it. And I get to be a sex trafficker like he is, but like have my hands a little cleaner.
You really can't have it all.
Yeah, exactly.
You really can't. It doesn't disabuse you of the notion that politics is run by like this secret cabal of like sinister lizard people.
Yes.
We literally are seeing it in black and white right now.
Yes, yes. Did you see the Trump-Clinton email?
No.
Oh. Okay.
It's hard to keep track of which ones I have and haven't seen.
It's like some guy posted this, but apparently it's like a real email. This is from Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, to Jeffrey Epstein. He says, first of all, he says, how are you doing? A while back, you mentioned that you were pre-diabetic. Has anything changed with that? What is your boy up to? Jeffrey says, all good. Bannon with me. And then Mark Epstein writes, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba.
Oh, yeah, I definitely did see that.
Blowing
Yes.
Bubba.
Yes, Bubba, of course, being the
Bill
one of
Clinton.
the most famous nicknames for Bill Clinton.
Yikes.
Now, like, are these things real? For all of our sakes, like a great part of me really hopes that it's not.
A chill just went down my spine.
Has Bill Clinton commented publicly? I feel like he never does.
I don't think so. And I think when they do comment, they just say, as I've said many times before, I was duped by him. I didn't know. I regret my association, blah, 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 blah.
Something I think about a lot is, so these are really two different things, but I've thought about it a lot with respect to like Joe Biden and Gaza, right? Like the notion that basically like it doesn't end up mattering what the policy is if you just look at the results. Right. So like even if you were duped, the results are the same, which is you had a long running association with a convicted minor solicitor and accused sex trafficker. So, you know, even if that were to pass the smell test at all, which I'm sorry, it doesn't, you get no credit in my book for that.
Right.
That is such a lapse of judgment that how could you ever have been made president? And therefore, why would the DNC keep rolling you out to do things like, oh, I don't know, campaign events where you berate Muslim voters in Michigan? Yeah,
He's really the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, because again, like then responsibility filters up the chain. It's like, okay, if Bill Clinton has that bad of judgment, then the DNC and the whole party apparatus has that bad of judgment because they keep rolling out this guy who I guess while the numbers say is pretty popular, is fatally flawed. It doesn't get more fatal politically to me than really good friends with a pedophile.
Although, I guess we were talking about this a little before we started recording. What do we think is going to happen? I don't know. Like, do we think that Trump is going to, like, pay a meaningful political price for any of this.
So the interesting thing, and I only was diving into this for my primary job today, is that they basically had to use this arcane rule to circulate this thing called like a discharge petition to basically force Mike Johnson to schedule a vote in the House about releasing the Epstein documents, because House Republicans, Mike Johnson, and the White House were all against this, but they got like 218 signatures on this thing. So basically, he had to schedule the vote. I believe it's up for next week. It'll probably pass the House, has very little chance of passing the Senate. But what's really interesting to me is that, God forbid, they flip some votes in the Senate, because otherwise it could land on Trump's desk, and Trump could be in a position where he has to veto releasing the documents that implicate him directly, or at least name him a bunch of times. I also just saw today that there's now a searchable database of the new emails, and Trump's name appears in there like 1,600 times. So, and I think we're already seeing some roiling and seething amongst Trump's own ragtag supporters who thought that he was going to be the one to expose the pedophiles and kick the doors wide open on this. And now, if Trump were to have to veto this bill, would be the most direct, like, spit in the eye of what he promised to do for his supporters.
Major, are we the baddies hours?
And it would seem, yeah, certainly.
I just saw there was like a news alert that Trump has now ordered the Justice Department to investigate links that Epstein had to Democrats. Including Bill Clinton and Larry Summers.
Which is so funny. Let them fight.
Yeah, no, I'm like, please investigate.
And I think like we're going to keep getting doc drops out of this. I know everyone should be tarred for their association with Jeffrey Epstein, unless it's Lana Del Rey, in which case we're going to have to revisit this. Don't clip that. If Taylor's in there, that's fine. Her last album wasn't good.
You mean the most recent one?
Her. Yeah, Life of a Showgirl.
Yeah. I think we can all agree on
that. So I'm happy to throw her out with the bathwater if she's implicated.
Speaking of a cabal of elites, should we talk about the Democrats caving on the government shutdown?
Build-up.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of a cabal of elites, let's talk about Chuck Schumer.
Oh, man. Our fave.
Oh, Jack's allowed to say it.
You mean our
So is Alex.
Yeah, I can say it too.
Alex has officially been, like, welcomed into the tribe.
I'm a child of Abraham.
Well, I did know that, but I wasn't going to dox him on the pod.
It's a recurring bit on the pod.
I don't want to give my data over to 23andMe, but I think it would return that I'm, like, 98% German. So I also don't want to do it for that reason.
No, that tracks to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm like, you do. I'm like,
this
you
is
do
why it's
love
good
Hitler.
that this is a video pod. Okay, all right. Okay. First of all, I disavow that statement. I disavow that. I'm not going to let this become a Sydney Sweeney style moment.
Another gotcha interview.
Did you see that stupid ass article in, I think, GQ or something like that, or Esquire, where they were like, why do all these like leftist women love Nick Fuentes?
That totally
there are
passed
two,
me by.
And they're not real leftists.
Right.
We're just throwing that word around.
It's Anna and Dasha, and they're not leftists. Who else was even in there?
It was like such a badly sourced and argued thing. It was just like, oh, some like girls on the internet were like, I like Nick, even though he's a Nazi. I'm like, I feel like those people are just called Nazis.
Also, they didn't ask me for comment, and everyone knows that I am the central clearinghouse for what qualifies as a quote-unquote leftist woman.
Well, this is why I asked you.
And no, I don't support him. He's a loser. And also a racist.
Is he more of a loser than the Senate Democrats?
Ooh, great bringing it back.
I'm not going to hand it to the Senate Democrats just for not being out and out Nazis. But boy, you really got to almost give it up for just stepping on rake after rake, like holding out about these healthcare subsidies and then just being like, yeah, we're caving on that immediately, but the fight goes on. Jeffrey says, well, basically, we live to fight another day. And it's like, no, the fight is now over. You gave up on the fight. You gave up. Everything to the Democrats is about messaging, and this isn't even a win in a messaging way. It's maddening.
Yeah, well, it's like what I really defer to these politics geniuses about, because clearly they know better than the rest of us. It's like mere days after your opponents are like absolutely slaughtered across the country, like in deep blue areas, purple areas, like even in red areas like Mississippi, people are like, we do not like the Republican Party. That's the moment that, if you're a politics knower person, is the perfect moment to cave to those people.
Yeah.
Leave it to the Dems to tell you to not believe what's happening right in front of your eyes. See Joe Biden.
They have no feeling for political stakes whatsoever or deal making. Really, like, they actually did have leverage, and it seemed for a moment like they appreciated that in this government shutdown. Republicans are still, like, mostly left holding the bag in the American public's mind about SNAP. And now Trump is going to do basically the opposite of a listening tour, like a talking tour where he just says affordability a bunch of times, which is a real crisis that's been forced because of the whole SNAP thing, because of grocery prices, because of the shutdown. The Democrats have suffered real losses here, but the Democrats had the chance to really run up the score. And again, on something like healthcare, my favorite political blog, thecut.com, I saw on Instagram, which is mostly where I read them. They just talked to like 5 voters. It was really perfect for Instagram. What's your insurance premium right now? What's it going to be? Your premium is like $500, which is fucking plenty already. And now it's going to be like $2,700 or something like that. Just like, people will simply go without. And a lot of the quotes were about, I will never support a centrist Dem again. Which, if that's the radicalization we need, I've always thought healthcare is the best way into bringing people over to like progressive politics, and the best way to quote unquote radicalize dyed-in-the-wool liberals.
The great coalition builder, health insurance.
I mean, you know, it worked for Bernie Sanders until he was destroyed. And now, like, he barely talks more.
By his own party. As an aside, speaking of being destroyed by his own party, I'm sure you both saw the photo of Zoran meeting with Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, I sure did.
Like today?
Is this the one where their neighbors across the street can look into the Zoran like transition offices, and he sees Zoran in there having a little...
Yeah. It was like a definite creep shot, but I had the same reaction as I did when I heard that Obama had called Zoran, where I was just like, stay away from her! Stay away!
Stay away from her! Get a job!
Her being Zoran, obviously.
Yeah. They are not going to stay away. He's going to welcome them right in.
You do have to govern, I guess, but you know, it was an interesting data point.
You know, you were talking about the healthcare stuff, and I don't know if you read the Ezra Klein column.
Oh boy. What's that genius up to now?
Well, which was just like, oh, how about I just do a press release like for the Senate Democrats who caved?
Is
Even
this
in
another
that,
like they're playing 4D chess shit? I simply don't perceive his name anymore at this point.
2 of the things that he said were, first of all, they decided that they wanted to keep the issue of healthcare for 2026. AKA,
keep the
they're
issue.
Like, oh, it'll be good for us if people's like healthcare bills become even more crippling and unaffordable, because then they'll be mad at Trump about it. Which, like, they probably will be mad at Trump about it, but that's like a hell of a thing to do with people's lives. And also,
well, yeah, because like lives hang in the balance. It's not just like people's lives are going to get measurably shittier. People will die without healthcare.
Yes.
So again, like, the Democrats simply do not understand or care about the stakes. You know, again, it's one of those, which one is it? Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because the effects are the same.
And also, it's such an admission that they're like, we could never like actually win people over with a positive, like, affirmative vision in 2026. So our real like political option is to make sure that everyone is in such hell that they come running back to us and then we'll be fine.
Pure desperation.
It certainly has worked so far, just like trying to motivate people not to vote for you, but just to vote against the other guy. It worked last time around, didn't it? No citation needed there.
And that's why Andrew Cuomo is the next mayor of New York, too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it just keeps working. Liberals are sick of winning at this point.
But so then the other thing Ezra Klein said, which then in a different op-ed, Tim Kaine, one of the people
who caved,
confirmed basically, was that Democrats were also eager to cave because they were worried that Republicans would end the filibuster.
Yeah.
Yes.
In order
that's being set up as a new litmus test, right?
Right. And so, then Tim Kaine in the New York Times wrote, more likely the chaos of continuing the shutdown would have led them to eliminate the Senate filibuster so they could pass a government funding bill with no Democratic votes, a dangerous consolidation of one-party rule.
Listen, as the kids say, bet, you should have done it first. You should have done it long ago.
And it's just like, well, there you go. Like, their biggest concern is that the Senate would turn into a situation where you couldn't point the finger at a minority of senators.
For hamstringing your entire legislative agenda. Well, yeah, and that would be killer for Dems. They hate that.
Yeah. If your strategy is to make them angry, how about you force them to overturn a longstanding rule to overrule you? That'll get people really fucking pissed.
I'm wearing a Simpsons shirt, but I'm reminded of the meme from The Simpsons where they're at the political convention, and the one for the Democrats is we can't govern, and the one
we
for
hate
the
life
Republicans
and ourselves.
Is we hate everybody. Increasingly, we've reached the singularity. Both banners stand for the Democrats.
Yes.
You know, they neither want to govern, nor do they have any love for their supporters or any positive articulated vision of the future.
They bank so heavily on the backstop of these Senate rules as a way of saying, we definitely want to do all this good shit for you, but we just can't because of this stupid filibuster.
Rats.
And it's too bad, but I guess it's never gonna happen again. And it's they're saying they could have gotten Republicans to do their work for them in getting rid of this thing that Democratic voters rightfully, absolutely hate, and that has always been the biggest impediment, to any, substantive, left-wing or even liberal legislation. Turning the Senate into this 60-vote chamber, giving any single senator the power to derail, everything, putting all of your political agenda at the mercy of a small minority of people. Nobody in their right mind would actually want that unless you are a senator and you care more about preserving your little club rules and retaining the plausible deniability that you have built up as to why you never seem to be able to get around to doing anything good for people.
Doing anything, mostly.
Yeah. Then they actually care about the people that they are ostensibly, but clearly not, there to serve. It's so out in the open that they're saying it out loud, literally. And it's that's your priority. Your priority is you would rather the world burn than you either have to give up your little privileges or actually be accountable to the people who elect you.
As my other political idol said, quoting Maya Angelou, when people show you who they are, believe them.
Believe them.
That is your political idol.
And the Dems stay telling us who they are.
Yes. I mean, if I had a dollar for every time I had to be stop quoting Maya Angelou again, Katherine, I'd be a very rich person. Yes, yeah. And Hillary Clinton.
Speaking of people telling us who they are and, believing women, we must discuss everyone's favorite star political reporter, Olivia Nuzzi, and her forthcoming memoir, American Canto, which I mean,
I'm doing.
shouts to her.
I'm on
Good
video,
title.
so you can see what I'm doing.
Yes.
Oh God! Were you George Saunders?
For audio listeners, Katherine was making the jerk off motion.
Big time. Which, yeah, there was a big piece in the New York Times today, which I had a very busy workday, so I didn't have the chance to read it all. And I might be content to leave it where I left it, about how she decamped to LA, which is such a classic tale. If you flee the nastiness of the East Coast and you're embraced by Malibu. There's a Miley Cyrus song about this. And she wrote this in secret, and now it's out.
She hopped off that
December.
plane at LAX and
with a dream and a cardigan.
Yeah. Famously, she resigned or was fired in disgrace from New York Magazine after she wrote a real suck job profile. And I use that term on purpose because apparently she only conducted a digital affair with Robert F. Kennedy. But yeah, she wrote the suck job legitimizing profile of Robert F. Kennedy. And then that was found out. Her relationship with Ryan Lizza, I believe that is the subject. Were they married? I believe that is somehow
I think
the
they were
subject
engaged.
Yeah.
It was
But
never
it's
fully
the
legal.
subject of some kind of legal action.
Yes.
So
according to this story, she's since dropped her suit against him, alleging that he hacked into her devices in order to leak information, and has a glossy new job as a West Coast editor of the new Vanity Fair.
In the same year, they brought on Ta-Nehisi Coates and Olivia Nuzzi.
On some level, should I feel bad as a woman about another woman who, I don't know, got a raw deal? Theoretically, yes, but Me Too was a failure, and so I don't. And I'm sorry, for years, she was the go-to call for Trump world. So she existed to launder through New York Magazine whatever Trump wanted to tell her. He called her personally. And so again, she's not on my team. I don't claim her. And we also always knew that she was going to land more on her feet than ever, which she is. This New York Times piece is only the beginning of the glossy photo shoots and Phoenix Rising.
This is going to be one hell of a press tour. She's going to be on Call Her Daddy.
God, every women's magazine has to be clamoring from her, and I should know. I used to work at one.
I bet Vogue will do it.
I mean, she's already in the family.
She's not going to get a cover, but yeah.
No.
But
She'll get
big story, big spread.
She won't get. I don't think she'll get a cover, but
splashy.
She'll get a big digital cover.
She's going to be in the desert. She's going to be wearing bohemian, bright colors, kind of Joshua Tree coated. Maybe that's what I'm putting my marker down for.
It does say that in the Times piece that she wrote most of the book on her phone while hiking.
Move to LA and don't take up hiking challenge.
Yeah, we get it. You live in California now. Yeah. I just want to read some of this Times piece.
Clearly, because her and Jacob Bernstein are friends.
Oh, 1000%.
What a cover your ass, you owe me a favor little piece.
Yes. No, I mean, there's real Barry Weiss energy coursing throughout their whole vibe in this piece. This is apparently some of what's going to be in the book. She writes that the first few times Kennedy said he loved her, she did not say it back. Yet she knew she felt the same. I love him, I thought. Oh no, I love him so much. They spoke often and were intimate enough for her to see him flossing his teeth. They chose favorite parts of each other, she writes. He chose her mouth. She chose his nose. They shared a common language, common skepticisms, common ideas about what was beautiful, common beliefs about what was valuable. She didn't care that he was 39 years older than her. She liked him just the way he was. They both moved through the world with amused detachment and deep sensitivity, contradictions that worked somehow in concert.
Yeah.
Just imagine that voice sending you voice memos and wow, what a sensitive soul.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Come on.
It's you would think he was fucking Robert Redford and not Robert,
or even
and not
JFK,
Robert
and he's no JFK.
Or even RFK Sr.
Yeah,
totally. But she's wow, I love your nose, and he's I love your mouth.
Also, that's
what?
disgusting. That's disgusting. You telling me he's saying that and they're not fucking.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
I mean, she's insistent about that.
Yeah, I know.
That they
I know.
didn't
I
do
think
it.
it's just because he's disgusting.
Or because she's lying.
I'm like, to risk it all, to have it all burned down, and you didn't buck.
And it was for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose face is literally like melting off of his skull.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, that's hot to you?
The relationship she was having this emotional affair with, she was with Ryan and Lizza, so she, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, she clearly has insane taste.
Insane taste, yeah.
Sounds like she has a type,
really...
which love is love, but yikes.
Yeah. She's like, wow,
not
I just
not
loved
to
it.
yuck anyone's yum, but I'm yucking that yum for sure.
Yeah. He's just,
oh, yuck,
I just
no
wish
yum.
you wouldn't get vaccinated. And she's like,
yeah,
wow.
like the guy who's
That's like the
single-handedly
most romantic
bringing
thing
back
I've ever
measles.
heard.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't care if he looks like who's a hot guy. Name a single hot guy.
We don't have any left.
Why is the only name coming to my Friday addled brain Benson Boone? That is so random. I don't even think he's hot. Why is that the first male name I could come up with?
I don't know. Yeah.
I gotta log off.
You like those flips?
Yeah, you love the flips.
They go crazy.
But like,
yeah.
I mean, Benson Boone would make more sense than RFK Jr.
Yes. Or even Jack Schlossberg, who I also find
Yes.
repugnant, and who
God.
who just this week in other Kennedy news entered the fray
and
to
Nepo
replace,
baby
Nadler.
news.
Yeah,
Yes.
big Nepo baby news.
Another
Yeah.
flop would-be journalist turned
Yes.
political candidate.
Yes, Vogue
Many
correspondent
cases.
Jack Schlossberg,
Yeah.
who like I in the past have been like perfectly charmed by, and now I'm like, okay, I hate you.
I'm not admitted
Yeah.
to that. He's got a weird face. He's definitely got like the Kennedy jaw. He's a real manic poster, and I find something like deeply disquieting about him. And also, you know, like the curse of the family is real. But yeah,
Runs deep.
if I were Olivia, I would be most worried about, I'm not trying to stand within like 20 feet of any Kennedy. They could be hit with a nuke at any time. Or, you know, just like a falling AC unit. Like the
Yes.
stats are really not good.
Yes, no, the shelf life there is finite.
Yeah,
Never.
yeah.
The ancient
definitely.
curse on that family runs through eternity.
Well, yeah, and like Camelot's shine, there's less and less left for every subsequent generation. We're seeing that play out right now.
No.
Well, also, it's Jack Schlossberg is like not a serious person, and the Kennedys were never decent people, but they were a little more serious like a couple generations ago.
Yeah, Ted
like-
killed that guy, or girl, rather, woman.
Yes.
Speaking
I
of
mean,
the
you know,
curse.
as
But,
far as
he was a
as far
serious
as we know.
politician. Well, he's
Yeah,
dead,
you
so
know,
you
like-
can't libel him.
he definitely killed her. His whole thing was just that he was only driving her home. That's the thing where
And
it's
then
like,
killed her.
Okay.
yes. You know, it's just like on Succession.
Yeah, I'm not engaging in a digital affair or taking a ride home from any Kennedy, and that's the Katherine Krueger promise.
Two great rules to live by: stay away from the Kennedys and don't be like Olivia Nuzzi.
Does he?
Yeah.
I mean,
this
two
is
hard truths
Yeah,
to
this is an
learn.
advice podcast now. Well, this was fun.
Come back anytime.
Yes.
We're happy to have you.
Remember that this is a video podcast next time. You do get to see me showered, which is rare, but maybe I'll have the overhead light on or wear makeup next time.
Whichever way we find you, you are welcome.
Sam cleans us up in post. Shout out producer Sam.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you,
She
Sam.
beautifies us.
And we still don't
Thank you,
have an
Catherine.
ending. We just end it awkwardly.
Well,
Come back next
until
week for
next
more
time.
episodes. Exactly.
Yes. When Rafi is coming on.
Jack's been booked and busy booking our guests.
Oh, a
Sorry.
teaser.
Sorry.
You already promised him.
I booked him. No, I was like, can you do it?
Great.
So
Love that.
he's gonna
Thanksgiving
do it.
special.
Till then, till Rafi.
Bye, everybody.
now.
Bye.